Good afternoon. Oh, you got to do better than that. We got a whole crowd. We had to bring in extra chairs and everything. Good afternoon. Much better, much better. My name is Tim Mayhews. I'm the Director of Basic Law Enforcement Training here at Nash Community College. On behalf of the graduating class, I want to thank everybody for coming out here and participating. This is a very momentous time for these officers, deputies. So we appreciate you coming out here and helping support them. At this time, I ask you to please rise, if you're able, and welcome the graduates of the 76th Basic Law Enforcement Training Program, and to please remain standing for the reciting of the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Present arms.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order arms.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Mike Paul for the invocation.
It's good to see everybody here and welcome. At this time, let's bow our heads and pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this day. We thank you for the celebration that we can have, all the hard work that was represented, the good people that were here that made sacrifices, family, friends, and the graduates themselves, Lord. I ask that you continue to keep your hand on them. Be with this ceremony, that may be a joyous occasion that we will look back fondly and with great memories, Lord. Pray these things in Christ's name, amen.
And next, I'd like to everybody go ahead and take a seat. I was going to wait and see how long everybody's going to stand up. I'd like to introduce my boss, President of Nash Community College, Dr. Lou Honeycutt.
Thank you, Tim. Well, I'm going to change it up a little bit and say great afternoon. On days like today, events like this, good's just not good enough. So I'm going to say it again. Great afternoon. Great afternoon. And I also want to thank all the law enforcement people that are here in the room today, because I just left a meeting at Benvenue Country Club, and I'm going to say I drove a little fast to get back here. I told Tim in an email yesterday I'll be coming in on 2 wheels, but I will be there. And I want you to know I was here at 1:59. So I made it. So thank you all for being in this room instead of out on the road somewhere. I was driving safe, though, I promise. But no, I am Lou Honeycutt, and I'm honored to be the 5th president of this incredible institution. I got to meet these cadets when you first came, I think the first week or two you were here, and was impressed with them then. I'm more impressed now. You've chosen such an honorable profession, and I just want to thank you for allowing Nash Community College to be part of your educational journey. Now, once you're a Nighthawk, you can never get away from us. We're a lot like a gang. We jumped you in, we're not jumping you out. So you'll always and forever be a Nighthawk. And as such, I taught them something when I met with them the first time. Now, this is something that I'm going to teach y'all, and if you don't do well enough at what I'm teaching you, we stop the ceremony right now. There's no graduation, they don't get to get their jobs, nothing. So there's no pressure, but I'm going to put some pressure on you. So we are the Nighthawks. It is a real bird, but how many in here know what a Nighthawk sounds like? Don't worry, notice no one else does either. It has a call that's a real screeching, kind of weird, kind of a night call. Well, our Nighthawk doesn't say that, but we do have a Nighthawk call. And when I hear the Nighthawk call, my obligation is to repeat it back no matter where I am. I was in Piggly Wiggly at Christmas, and the line was really long at the checkout stand. From the very front, I heard this, and I immediately said it back. Everyone in the store turned around and stared at me. But that's my obligation and my dedication to students. So I'm going to teach it to y'all, and then I'm going to count to 3, and I need to see the roof tiles falling out of the ceiling, because that's how good we need to do it. I will tell you, your sons, daughters, and family members did an incredible job when I trained them. So I know y'all will too. So our Nighthawk call goes like this. Caw-caw, caw-caw. Okay, so I'm going to count to, remember, we stop the ceremony if this doesn't go well. I've got enough security in here, we can stop anything. I'm going to count to 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to give that a 62.3. I don't know. And the .3 is a given. I'm just giving it to you. We're going to try one more time. I know you can do better. 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! Caw. With that, I'll turn it over to Director Mayhews, and we'll get this party started. Thank you.
At this time, the graduates are going to recite the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics.
10. Hubb. About face. As.
A law enforcement officer, my fundamental duty is to serve the community, to safeguard lives and property, to protect the innocent against deceptions, the weak against oppression or intimidation, and the peaceful against violence and disorder, and to respect the constitutional rights of all to liberty, equality, and justice. I will keep my private life unsullied as an example to all, and will behave in a manner that does not bring discredit to me or to my agency. I will maintain courageous calm in the face of danger, scorn, or ridicule, develop self-restraint, and be constantly mindful of the welfare of others. Honest in thought and deed, both in my personal and official life, I will be exemplary in obeying the laws and regulations of my department. Whatever I see or hear of a conflict of nature, or that is confided in me in my official capacity, will be kept never secret unless revelation is necessary to perform my duty. I will never act officiously or permit personal feelings, prejudices, political beliefs, aspirations, animosities, or friendships to influence my decisions. With no compromise for crime, and with relentless prosecution of criminals, I will enforce the law courteously and appropriately, without fear or favor, malice or ill will, never employing unnecessary force or violence, and never accepting gratuities. I recognize the badge of my office as a symbol of public faith, and I accept it as a public trust to be held so long as I am true to the ethics of the police service. I will never engage in acts of corruption or bribery, nor will I condone such acts by other police officers. I will cooperate with all legally authorized agencies and their representatives in the pursuit of justice. I know that I alone am responsible for my own standard of professional performance, and will take every reasonable opportunity to enhance and improve my level of knowledge and competence. I will constantly strive to achieve these objectives and ideals, dedicating myself before God to my chosen profession, law enforcement.
About face. Take a seat.
The cadets are required to recite the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics every day. And usually it's at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, end of our day. And they've always been told that they follow those code of ethics throughout their whole law enforcement career, it will help to keep them out of getting in trouble, making a bad decision, or just putting them in a predicament that it's not going to be good for them. So that's why we have them memorize it and recite it. And I saw a couple of people out there in the audience reciting it as well. Somewhere over here. All right. Next, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you our guest speaker, retired Captain Michael Paul. Mike retired as a captain after 28 and a half years with Rocky Mountain Police Department. He currently possesses a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Pensacola Christian College. He has received his advanced law enforcement certificate from the state of North Carolina and is a graduate of the Administrative Officers Management Program from NC State University, the Management Development Program from the North Carolina Justice Academy, and the Senior Management Institute for Police from Boston University. During his tenure at the Rocky Mountain Police Department, Captain Paul served as a division commander in the Special Operations, Patrol Services, and Administration Division as Chief of Staff. Captain Paul currently serves as one of our qualified assistants in the Basic Law Enforcement Training Program here at Nash Community College, where he's responsible for various administrative duties in support of the BLET program and keeping me out of trouble. He is also a specialized firearms instructor and teaches various topics in the BLET program here at Nash Community College, to include ethics, criminal elements, arrest, search and seizure, and constitutional law, and firearms. He has been married to his wife, Christy, for 30 years. They currently reside in Rocky Mount. They have 3 children residing in Pensacola, Florida, and most recently welcomed a granddaughter to the Paul family. He now spends his free time as an adjunct instructor with Nash Community College, whittling down Christy's honey-do list and traveling to Pensacola, Florida to spoil his new granddaughter. Please join me in welcoming retired Captain Michael Paul.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It is good to be here. It's great to honor these graduates, and I'm glad I could be part of your ceremony. Thank you for that. Who here has ever participated in a graduation ceremony ever? All right, every hand should be up. You've graduated something, kindergarten, 8th grade, something, right? So you've been there before, and I am under no delusion that the keynote speaker is not the center. It is not the center of attention. I'm not the main event. This class has been very adamant in letting me know that it's about them, right? But we got a running joke. I'm Emperor Mike Paul, always right, and they just do push-ups. So that's right. So we've had a good time. I really enjoyed them. I will tell you this, I don't profess to be the best public speaker, but I do know some good public speakers, and they always have a couple key components. And one of it is a very simple element message, and then some very relevant points to back it up. And it's all about the graduates, but I would like to recognize Dr. Honeycutt and the staff here and the faculty. They make it happen for the academy. And then there's the departments that are represented here. You guys have a significant investment in each one of these graduates. And I'm going to tell you, I've been with them for almost 6 months, and you have chose wisely. They will not let you down. I promise you that. And then, of course, there's the family and the friends, significant others that have been the support network for everybody here. If they haven't learned anything, that they can't do it by themselves, and that there are other people in their lives that are supporting them. Maybe not always agreeing with them, but they are supporting them. So it's a big thing to see everybody here represented, and I'm glad you're here. All right, so the first thing I did when I was looking at something to do, I was looking for a simple element, and then I was trying to be clever with it, so you would remember what we talked about here today. Because I'm going to tell you, I have no idea what my graduation speaker spoke about 30 years ago from the academy, so I'm going to try to do my best. So what I would like to do is start out with a simple philosophy. It's worth the price of admission that it costs you to get in here. And this is it, graduates. Learn to work hard on yourself. Learn to work hard on yourself, even harder than you do on your job. All right? And then to back this up, this is where it got clever. I came up with an acronym so you can remember a creed, right? It's what we live by. It's our motto, right? We have a creed. So if you can remember, work hard on yourself, and then the motto creed, this is something you might remember at the end when you retire. All right, here we go. The first thing I want to talk about is the C in creed. It's courage. Danger is an inherent part of the job, and it's okay to be scared. We learned about that. Being scared means you're about to do something very, very brave, right? There can be no courage without fear. You guys have been exposed to some of the best techniques to make informed decisions and to make calculated risk. You guys have learned to do dangerous things carefully. That's part of what you do. And I believe that you are fully aware of the dangers that are out there in the field, and I know that you are ready to meet those challenges, every one of you. But there's different kinds of courage, and that's what I wanted to make note of. Beside the intestinal fortitude that it takes to be here and do what you've done, there's moral courage to behave in an ethical manner. That integrity is the cornerstone of what separates law enforcement from every other profession, and that's public trust. There's also personal courage. Do you have the courage to do accurate self-actualization, to really look hard at yourself with a critical eye, not make excuses? Are you doing what it takes? Are your acts aligned with what you want for your life, right? So you got to think about that. Are you doing what it takes to make that a reality? You've probably come to realize throughout your time at the academy that you're not just competing against other classmates, are you? Or other people. But the real challenge is yourself. Are you being the best possible version of you, or are you just doing enough to get by? Feeling fear and doing your duty anyway takes many different forms of courage, and you, Class 76, are built to handle the pressure that comes with that calling. The R in creed is risk. One of the reasons why people fail in life is that they're afraid of failing. Failure is part of life's foundation because it teaches you the stuff you're not going to learn otherwise. So don't fear failure. You will fail. You will fail often. It will be painful. It will be discouraging at times, and sometimes it's really going to test you, right to your very core. It's not going to be easy, but you need to have heart, because there's some things that you just can't learn. You can't get by without perseverance. So when things go bad, there's going to be some good that will come from it. I heard a podcaster talk about it. He says, a request gets canceled, good. We can focus on other ones. Didn't get promoted, good. More time to get better. Didn't get the assignment you wanted, good. Go out and gain more experience. Build a better resume. Get some more training. Have unexpected problems, good. We have an opportunity to find a solution. But that's life, though. You will plan, you will try, you will fail, and things will go bad. Remember your training. You guys have that training. Act. Don't react, right? Someone giving you a hard time? Act. Don't react. Having a bad time? Not making a test? Not getting where you wanted to be? Act. Don't react. Don't get all bummed out. Don't get startled. Don't get frustrated. Take that issue, take that setback, take that problem, and turn it into something good. And I challenge you to start being thankful that you have the opportunity to grow, to get stronger, to get more focused, to get more skilled, to take care of business because of every hardship that you face. Failure will test your fortitude, your endurance, your grit, your dedication, your determination, your mental toughness and your character, and your ability to do something that's critical to your dreams. You got to get the job done. It's an opportunity to prove what you're made of, and it's an opportunity to prove to you what you are and what you say you are in your head. To sum it up, take risks, make mistakes, learn from them. These are the lessons that you won't forget. The E in CREED is empathy. So what's empathy? How's it different from sympathy? Empathy fuels connection, and sympathy drives disconnection. There's a nursing scholar, Teresa Wiseman, and she studied a diverse amount of professions where empathy is relevant and came up with 4 aspects or qualities of empathy. And one is perspective taking, the ability to look at something through somebody else's perspective or what their truth is. And then staying out of judgment. And that's not easy when you enjoy it as much as most of us do, right? Recognizing emotion in other people and then communicating that emotion. So empathy is feeling with people. Early in my career, I observed an officer at an accident scene. It was a single car rollover. There was a middle-aged female. She was trapped inside. She was pretty banged up. She was very disoriented. And she had that 3 whites of the eyes look where she was just terrified and confused and didn't know where she was. It was trauma. And I'd never been to anything that serious before. And this is long the days before there were body cams. So my mind was on video record. I was soaking up every moment and going to remember this for a long time. And as I was watching everything, I watched this officer who was able to understand the situation and then get down on that level and empathize with that victim. And it was very simple. All he says, I'm a police officer and I'm going to help you. And you can see at that very moment, all the stress disappeared. Right at that very moment, panic went away. And he was able to get down on that victim's level. I've never forgot that, and it's always something that's very impressed on me, and I would like to pass on to you. Empathy isn't just about placing yourself in someone else's shoes. It's about being understood and acknowledging the human experience of someone else. Empathy will serve you well in your field, but not just your field of law enforcement with the community you serve, but also your organization. It doesn't require rank. It doesn't require special training, but you can positively influence your peers and your supervisors. And maybe one day your subordinates. Scary. Supervisors. Man. But we all have issues. Maybe somebody's kid is sick. Maybe somebody's having marriage problems. Maybe one of their parents is dying. We don't know what's going on in their lives. And of course, it will affect performance at work and their behavior and their attitude. But empathy is being able to be concerned about the human being and not just their output. Which leads me to the second E in CREED is exercise. So polling you guys today, how many of you, I'm looking out, me and William got a connection. All right, how many here plan to be 50? Who plans to be around at 50? All right, we got a quorum, a majority. Somebody's not gonna make it, but you will. All right, so if you're gonna be 50, why not be 50 and healthy? Exercise your body and your mind and your spirit. Exercise requires tearing down, building up, growth, development. It's painful. And for 6 months, you worked on sacrifice. You were keenly aware of what sweat equity it took to get where you guys are today, right? You guys started in January, and you guys know what it takes to put in the hard work. Get up early. Do things you don't want to do. Don't do things you shouldn't do, right? Sometimes, you can't have that extra bowl of ice cream. So we know what we need to do, but our instinct is to gravitate to what we know and what we're comfortable with. The uncomfort zone is very important to personal development, and thanks to Nash Community College's BLT Academy, you know that you can not only survive strenuous activity, but you can thrive in that uncomfort zone. So be healthy, and read. That's my other point on this one. It's not an accident that successful people read more books. Warren Buffett is an avid reader, and he said that reading is the most valuable source of knowledge. Reading on a regular basis can help you develop skills that will help you in your career, in your profession, and your own personal development. To be a great student in life. One way to learn is by your own experiences, but there's another way to learn, by somebody else's. And a book could save you 5 years of personal trial and error. Did you know that there's books on how to be strong, decisive, a speaker, a leader, to be better to other people, to develop your own personality? And there's books on this, and people don't read that. Did you know that there are hundreds of successful people that have written their stories down? And not only that, they gave you the key to how they did it. And they put it in a book, and nobody read it. Nobody reads it. Read. Become a good reader. And finally, I'd like to close with discipline. You can't achieve any great results in sports if you don't train, and on a regular basis. You got to have consistency. And a high school basketball coach once told me that players are made in the summertime. And what does that mean? It means you don't wait to basketball season to start practicing, right? You do it beforehand. Meaning they prepared themselves and they put in the work. And this is going to be true for all of life and all of your career. And in the academy, you learn to commit to routines. And routines and rituals are just a collection of habits. When you follow them consistently, they produce profound and long-term results. We are what we do repeatedly. I heard a quote, and it goes like this: people don't decide their futures, they decide their habits, and their habits decide their futures. That was profound to me, and I remember that one. The other side of the coin of developing good habits of discipline involves personal sacrifice, delayed gratification. Discipline demands reducing the distractions and the temptations that are impeding your growth. What are you willing to sacrifice today in order to reach your goals, guys? What are you willing to do? What are you willing to do differently? How willing are you? Are you willing to make this a number one priority in your life? And a lot of people put that stuff into words and they say they will, but time will tell because their actions will show whether they apply themselves or not. So graduating class 76. It's been a very enjoyable and often very entertaining time to be with you guys. Your basic law enforcement training, I'd love to just tell this. This was a program that hasn't been done before, and these guys, they were champs. They were patient, and they absorbed the knowledge, and it was just a pilot program that we were doing with the state, and they did a fantastic job. It was hard. They did great. And you've worked hard on your personal development at Nash Community College's Academy. So now you possess a template that can be applied with the same success in your personal life, in your professional life. All you got to do is just take this template these tools in your toolbox, right? And you can apply that. So to sum it up, work hard on yourself and your personal growth. Have courage. It's not necessarily the absence of fear, but sometimes it's facing that fear. Risk. Sometimes you need to risk it for the biscuit, all right? Just go out there and put it out there. Do calculate it. Empathy, the quality of understanding another. Exercise, strengthen to develop your mind, body, and spirit. And discipline, decide your habits because they're going to decide your futures. So if you work hard on your job, you can make a living, and that is fine. But if you work hard on yourself, you can make a career, and that is super fine. So thank you very much, and I enjoyed being with you. Best of luck, and let's have a round of applause for our graduates.
Well spoken. Now I'd like to introduce Officer Hunter Joyner, the platoon leader. for some words of encouragement.
Great afternoon, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Captain Paul, for the encouraging words. We always called him Emperor Captain Paul, always right. But what he would tell us is he may not be right all the time, but he's never wrong. So that's been a good thing we remembered. So what I want to say is, on behalf of the 76th graduating class, I want to thank all the friends and family in attendance for taking the time to come and show support for your respective graduates. I also want to recognize and thank the various police department representatives in attendance, as well as Nash Community College staff, BLET staff, and a special thanks to our Academy Director, Tim Mayhews. Thank you for the support here today, as well as the support and guidance you have given us throughout the Academy. So today marks a milestone in our careers as we conclude our basic law enforcement training journey. Though we began as individuals in the application process, through months of mental and physical training and learning to work as a team, we became a family. During the Nash Community College Basic Law Enforcement Training Academy, we have been exposed to hundreds of hours of book curriculum, as well as hands-on and live practical scenarios. This class was the first in the state, or one of the first in the state, to go through the new pilot program, which, as Director Mayhew said, added over 200 hours of additional training, and we definitely felt that. These course hours have included everything from bias training, live court testimony, combat shooting, standardized field sobriety testing, and so many other great courses that have given us a solid foundation to build off of. So thank you to all of our instructors for constantly pushing us to strive for excellence and to never settle for the bare minimum. Now, these past 22 weeks were by no means easy. When you place multiple people from different backgrounds and with different personalities together for extended periods of time, there will be conflict. But through this friction process, I believe we have sharpened each other to be better versions of our former selves. Now, I will say we have had some long days. We had some days where you forget what day it is because you've been there so long, and you watch the sun come up, and you watch the sun go down, and you just don't even know where you are anymore. But we made the best out of those days. One thing we learned is that some of us can stand in tear gas completely unaffected, Officer Hubb, while others of us take off running across a field and have to be chased down to get as far away from that tear gas as possible, which was me. And as much as we appreciate the PT sessions for getting us all into shape and prepared to pass the police officer's physical abilities test, the POPAT, I can say for myself, and I think many others, I would be okay with not seeing a deck of cards for a while, and thank God for elevators. To the family members in attendance, I know these past 6 months have been a sacrifice for you all as well. Through the late night study sessions and/or class days, the 5 a.m. PT mornings, special thanks to Captain Bunt, you're out there somewhere, and Sergeant Trull, and the final weeks leading up to the state exam, you were there filling in the gaps for us. I know I speak on behalf of my fellow graduates when I say none of this would have been possible without your support. So again, we say thank you. In closing, as we reflect on this journey we have shared together, let us always remember the importance of the code of ethics that we recite every day. It's not just a set of words, but a promise that we are making to ourselves and to the communities that we serve, to uphold justice, integrity, and service. Let us never lose sight of the opportunity we have daily to impact the lives of others around us. Let us truly embrace what it means to be a servant. We are entrusted with such a great responsibility, so let us wear it as a badge of honor, to serve our communities, to safeguard lives and property, to protect the innocent, the weak, and the peaceful, and to respect the constitutional rights of all. Thank you.
As in most professions, and law enforcement is constantly changing and evolving to meet the needs of the profession and the citizens and the public that we serve. BLET is no exception to this rule. The state of North Carolina conducted a job task analysis on what is needed to perform the job of a law enforcement officer. Now, they do this every so often. The last time was back in 2000. Now, this is 2024. So 24 years is a long time to revamp a program. Okay, so the powers to be saw that, and they came up with what we're going to call the pilot program, and that's what I'm going to talk about today, a little bit about today. So the job task analysis was done, and then it was given to the Justice Academy, North Carolina Justice Academy, to develop a curriculum, and this was back in 2023. Once the curriculum was developed, volunteers were needed to run the pilot program. Now, I don't know about y'all about volunteers. There's volunteers, and in law enforcement, there's voluntold. If you don't volunteer, you get voluntold. That wasn't the program here, the incident here. I had an opportunity to put on this program here at Nash Community College. I volunteered for it because first thing I want to do is get out there in the forefront. I wanted to start off with new material, and that meant we had a lot of last-minute changes, this and that, correct? All right. But in law enforcement, guess what? That's what you have to do. You have to be prepared. Everything's not planned out all nice and neat, and it's going to run the exact way you want it to. So you got to be prepared to make decisions on a second's notice. So we volunteered for the pilot program. We were one of 14 sites that volunteered out of 68 academies. The class you see here was one of the first ones to undergo it. And they've had many hours. A lot of significant changes were the hours of training, the curriculum material itself was revamped, and a lot of practical exercises. And they can attest to all the practical exercises that we had to do. Under the legacy version of BLET, that's the old BLET, there are 35 topics, and it includes about 2,800 pages of materials that the cadets would have to come and be proficient in. The state requirement for the BLET legacy version was 640 hours, which is about 4 months to go through the academy. Under the pilot program, which we volunteered for, this significantly increased. There are now 39 topics, which includes over 5,000 pages of material, and the course increased to 868 hours, which is approximately 6 months to run the academy. So there's an additional 228 hours of training that were added to make up the 868. Out of that 868, 426 were classroom hours. Now, I don't know about y'all. How many of y'all want to sit in a class for 426 hours? All right. And then there was an additional role-playing scenarios. Does anybody have any idea what we do in role play? Basically, we put officers in situations and scenarios, and they have to react according to their training. And I think if you talk to them, you never know what could happen, right? You never know who could show up. Was this one character? His name was John Dozier. And he would show up and he would show up and do role play. This is most hair I've had since high school. And we would act out scenarios and put them in positions where they have to make a decision. The course has come up with what's called a CDM, critical decision-making model, and that was in every block. And they learned to love them by the end of the academy. But it teaches them how to make decisions, good decisions based off of what? Your training, based off of your policy, your department policy, or based off of state law, constitutional law. So they can make good decisions, well-informed decisions. And that's what the role-playing did. We did have some fun with the role-playing. The graduates before you took their state exam on June 10th. We started in January of 2024. We had 9 take the state exam, all 9 passed for a 100% pass rate. Our state exam scores range from 80% to 92%, which I'm told is one of the higher averages that we reach across the 14 pilot sites. Our overall class average was 85%. So in saying that, can we give the graduates a round of applause for their dedication? Time for a haircut now. All right. Whew. That was scary. You should have seen some of their faces when they walked into the room and they saw the director with his wig on and everything else. So I was surprised, a couple of them. All right, so we're going to move on with our ceremony. At this time, I have the honor of introducing for the presentation of their certificates the graduates of the 76th Basic Enforcement Class, Law Enforcement Class of Nash Community College. Dr. Honeycutt, Captain Paul, will you please assist me? Sure. You won't be down there? Yes, sir, you can be right down there. Stand by. And I think I got a couple of wild hairs on me.
Don't think he just wears that during class.
There. David Ray Baines, Jr., Rocky Mountain Police Department. If I go home with all this long red hair on me, my wife's going to be mad at me. And feel free to come up, take pictures, family, if you would like to. Lindsey Michelle Carroll, Wilson Police Department. Christopher Terrell Farmer, Rocky Mountain Police Department. Every morning when I come in, I always had somebody greet me. Hey, Director Mayhew. Imani, Soleil, Elizabeth, Hubb. Hunter Dawes, Joyner, Rocky Mountain Police Department. I think you're being summoned. Jordan Matthew Judd, Rocky Mountain Police Department. Brian Alexander Maldonado-Sabillon, Rocky Mountain Police Department. Emily Nicole Renfrow, Rocky Mountain Police Department. And last but not least, William Lee Thomas III, Nash County Sheriff's Office. I got a text message one night, or the other day. Want to know how many people can we invite? I won't tell you Send it to me. I said, invite as many people as you want. I said, we don't have cake for so many. Can they bring balloons? Bring balloons. So, but that's all right. If you would, let's give another round of applause to all the people. If you would, please rise for the benediction and the final dismissal of the cadets.
Again, congratulations. Thank you, everyone, for attending. At this time, let's bow our heads in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time together. We thank you for the celebration. Again, we're thankful for these people that are willing to take on this mantle. It's a noble profession, Lord, and that you would guide them and direct them and protect them as they go out, Lord. Be with their families, be with their significant others, Lord. I ask now that you take this time. We thank you for the fellowship time that we're about to have, that it would be a celebration and a momentous occasion, Lord, and that you take this food and bless our bodies. Pray these things. Amen.
And for now, for those in attendance, it is a true honor for me to send out into your communities and to your agencies the graduates of the Basic Law Enforcement graduating class number 76 of Nash Community College. BLT class 76, 10 Hutt, fall out.